everybody. My name is Jennifer McCune, welcoming you to Mompreneur Next Door platform. And today we have another incredible mompreneur guest. This platform is here to help inspire, support other mompreneurs out there. And we are coming to you with Lisa Gutierrez Martinez. And Lisa lives in California. She and I connected via LinkedIn. I love social media has connected me with so many incredible women all over the world, which has been really fun. So Lisa, tell us more about you. I know you've been in entrepreneurship for quite a while now, but tell us what drew you to entrepreneurship, what you were doing before.
Well, I kind of stumbled upon becoming an entrepreneur. My previous life, I did a lot of corporate jobs where I was like an executive assistant or a senior sales analyst. But I would like master that job and then sort of become bored and look for something else. And I kind of jumped between like really interesting jobs and then jobs that paid well. And then the jobs that paid well, I just tried to make as interesting and fun. And I just went all in and just did the best I could and volunteered for every committee or whatever, came up with ideas to do something outside of my box. And so I would just say growing up, I was always exploring. I was always very curious. And then I guess I've always been a creative, but I didn't really know that until somebody pointed it out to me. And when that happened, I really took it in, and I started looking for a job that fit what my creativity was. And I ended up finding a job in, gosh, I think my commute was over an hour there and back. It was in South Pasadena. I live in Huntington Beach. And as I was driving to the job interview, I thought, there is no way ever am I going to make this commute. And then I think I was 10 minutes late, and I thought, oh God, I blew it. And then I thought, okay, wait, I said I was going to be there. I'm going to be there. But the minute I stepped through the door, I just could feel a change in my whole body. And it was like the most beautiful, interesting space. And the people that greeted me were so kind and amazing. And I ended up spending a couple hours there interviewing with the owner, who wanted me to be an executive assistant. And I told him I was seeking a creative role. And he basically said, well, I have something that you want, and you have something that I want. So if you come on board with me, you'll see every aspect of this company, and you'll be able to choose where you want to go.
Nice. What an astute owner. Wow. That's smart.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And the job paid less, and it was a commute on it, but just something in me just said I needed to be there.
Did you have kids at that point?
I did not.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was no way probably that would have happened. But I was keenly aware of people at the company. They were of the age of having children, and I did see some friction come about, like when they tried to continue their role after having a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely noted that, and I didn't understand it because I didn't cross that chasm yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely was aware of it. And but anyway, I continued with this job. It was super creative. It filled me up. It nourished me like in every way possible. It was so hard for me to articulate what it was, but like later I find, it was a multitude of things that were happening. And the people that I worked with were so collaborative and uplifting. And I'd never been in an environment like that. And it was great because I got it right away. I was all in. And then I could bring other people into this, and I could see a transformation happen when you just give somebody enough attention, and be themselves.
Right.
Out there like that, but it's so true. And I just absolutely loved this job. And then our company got acquired. And we all knew that the writing was on the wall, that we weren't going to be around much longer. The company that bought us takes assets, but not the people. And so I started looking for another job right away. But before that happened, I had a very close associate come to me and ask me if I could do anything in my life, what would it be? And I couldn't answer him. And so I decided to set some time aside and really think about that deeply and reflect on it. And part of this struggle, or what I saw back then, was like, I wanted to live a life that was meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned too, and this also came along with becoming a mom, but like, what does success mean to me? Does it really mean like $1 million, or does it mean living this really interesting, amazing lifestyle? And so I came up with this idea, and I did present it to my friend, and he said, don't do it.
Wow.
That's a restaurant. And I was like, no, it's not a restaurant. It's not really a restaurant at all. And he's like, yes, it is. I've done it. It's too hard. Lisa, you got to think of something else. And I didn't listen to him. But I did end up getting another job in another creative field. And it was, by the way, this creative field is production. So I produced still photography shoots for creative directors in LA for 4 years. And then I went on to produce video shoots, commercial video shoots for an international brand. And I loved it. It was so much fun. And what I brought over to my second job doing the video commercial shoots was that collaboration. But I had landed in an ad agency, and the dynamics there are a little bit different, where it's very competitive. But I was able to build a team, and I built it off the style that I learned from my former employer. And we had a really, really good team going, and then I got pregnant. And
that changes everything.
But this whole time I still had that little dream that I put together. It was actually in a PowerPoint presentation. And I kind of carried that around with me everywhere, and just kind of always thought about the idea and what it really was. And I tried to bring people on board as far as what the idea was about. And I just got I went to SBA meetings, that Small Business Association meetings. I went to like any sort of place that I thought could help me nurture the idea. And I really was met with, people were a little puzzled by it because it's outside of the box. And they also told me they thought it was cute. And that is a word that doesn't resonate very well with me, because it makes me feel like they didn't take me serious.
Right, exactly.
So I have this little baby going on, and I got
literally and metaphorically.
Yeah. So they both kind of sprouted at the same time, actually. So I after I had my child, and I did go back to my work, but when I walked in, I felt like I was looked at and treated differently, and that was just, it really hurt, and it also made me think back to the other women that I had seen have children and try to continue, you know, the roles that they had, and being met with just sort of a resistance. I think just all in all, like, corporate America, in my opinion, is still a little bit too much inside of a box, and that we have so much as women to offer. And if we just had that bit of flexibility, we would probably go to the ends of the earth for our employers.
Mm-hmm.
I was not met with much flexibility. I did get some, like, I didn't have to travel anymore. There were some things that were, you know, where I was sort of protected. But as I was going down this road, I would say the first year of having my son, I realized that this wasn't the life that I wanted to live. My life was too separated. I would be 8 or 9 hours at work, and then I would see my son, and it was really sad to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided, you know, I kept looking at this like PowerPoint and kept trying to talk to people, and then I got to a point where I was like, I just got to do it. I just have to do it. And I had seen some examples of popping up in the past, and I knew whatever I was going to create was going to involve food. So I went and approached a fromage. I can't say it. Fromage. Can you
Yeah.
say it? Anyway, a
Fromage.
cheese.
Cheese in French, fromage.
I was so intimidated by her and her knowledge, and but I knew that she had just had a baby, and I didn't see her come back to work at this little culinary cafe that was near me. So I looked her up and I said, "Can you, do you want to do this thing with me?" And she was like, "What are you doing?" Like, and I had to like almost a lot of people I have to do this with, but just like share like where I'm coming from. And I gave her a bunch of ideas and things to look at. And the thing she gravitated towards was communal dinner parties. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a really amazing idea, and it was super close to what I was trying to create, and it was good enough. And I was like, let's go, let's just do it. I got a date. I went to a location and asked them if we could do it at their beautiful showroom. It was a showroom, and the gentleman was like, yes, 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 the owner. And then he's like, but I don't know if you want our showroom. You might want this space. And he opened up a door to this like beautiful lush patio. And that's where we had our first dinner party. And it was, gosh, I want to say it was about 20 people, and we charged $37 a head. And we styled the entire, blank space with, we projected Amelie, and we brought in a living room set, and we styled it like a place that you would walk into in San Francisco or LA. And in Orange County, at that time, you didn't have a lot of that swanky, cultural, impactful environment. So that was our very first, we call it LARC, which means let's go on an adventure. And we named it LARC because we knew it would be an adventure for ourselves as well as anybody who came into basically the space or the dinner party.
And I love that. And there's so many elements that I love that. One of the things that I wanted to just expand upon a little bit is you said it was good enough. And I hear so many women wanting to start businesses, but it's not perfect. Things aren't perfect yet. So they're not starting. And so they wait until things are perfect. And just like anything, there's never going to be the perfect time to have a kid, to do all these great things. At a certain point, you just have to do it. So I love that you said that. That's huge. So I know it's been an incredible journey for you. Tell us about some of the most amazing benefits that you've found since going out on your own.
Definitely the flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
and all the time that I need and want to be there with my family.
Mm-hmm.
I can dictate my own schedule. There's so much freedom to it. It's amazing. And you just can't imagine having to be anywhere for 8 hours anymore, ever.
Right.
That
Right.
you didn't want to be.
Right.
And it's very uplifting. It definitely builds your confidence. There's so much pride. There's so much beauty in it too. I feel like in doing that, the act of doing, and I tell people this all the time, there's like so many different aspects of, how do you put on a dinner party, or how do you open a restaurant in a space for one night that isn't an actual restaurant? Like there's so much planning, and then there's physical work. Like we're hauling tables and chairs, and I call it purposeful work, because even in that there is so much joy. Like we know what we're creating, and we get to see the fruition of it. We get to see it in action. I always try and get back in the action of it and just take it in, and then the feedback that we get from people, it's really lovely, because in our day and age, we don't commune together enough. And there's so much opportunity at that table for the guest or the owner of the space, or for us as creatives that are putting on this experience.
I love that. I love that. And we talk a lot in entrepreneurship about how flexible it is and how nice it is to have ownership over our own schedule. And a lot of entrepreneurs are creative. That's one reason why corporate is not necessarily a great fit. All of that being said, I know there have been some challenges. So share some of the challenges, because I think that's what really scares people. People are looking for the flexibility and the opportunity to do their own thing, but they're afraid that they can't handle the challenges. Talk to us about that.
I would say prior to leaving my job and stepping into this full time, that my biggest challenge was time. I had to like squeeze in every moment that I had to do something for Lark. And then when I decided, to actually make the leap, I think a lot of people have fear in doing without. And I think what I thought about was, and I might be digressing a little bit, but I thought I wasn't afraid to be without. And I think what I had to give up was like, I know I'm trying to get a message across to those people out there. So it's like, people ask like, what did you have to lose to become an entrepreneur? And it's like, you know what? I had to lose all my fear and I had to gain all my courage.
Mm-hmm.
And remind me of the question again, because I wanted to squeeze that in.
No, that's okay. But what were the challenges? And I think that's one of the things is you just have to overcome your fears and do it, right? That's a big challenge. It's not like you're going to work for somebody else. You're your own boss, and there's a lot of fear involved there. And you just have to get over yourself and jump in, right?
Yeah. I think the challenges for me are like our mindset, like and to also like just being super aware of where I am in my creative, like I have a kind of a creative cycle. So I know that I'll be all fired up about something, and then, and then there's all action, and then we do it and complete happiness and satisfaction, and then I sort of crash and I might not have any ideas. And so when I'm in that space, that crash space is a little challenging for me when I don't have another, role to go play. It's just this one. So then I just kind of have to step outside of what I'm doing and for inspiration and do something completely different other than work. So I think like when I first stepped out, I almost felt like I didn't know. I've heard people say this before, but it's almost like I forgot how to swim. That was like one of the first things that happened to me when I left my employer. And it was like, wait a minute, I know how to do this. I've done it like a million times. So it's just kind of like your mind. And also one of the things I did too is I delved hard into Lark and just filled that up, and then it, later it dawned on me I could go for a walk or, or let's go see what my son Cameron's doing and let's go play and do something, so.
But I think that's a big challenge with a lot of entrepreneurs. We tend to be workaholics. We want to do our business to have more flexibility to be with our family. And then all we do is work and lose sight of the fact of what we're doing. I think that's very standard for a lot of entrepreneurs when they first start, right? So now that goes to the next question I'm going to ask you. If you had some advice to give people who are thinking of starting their own thing, moms out there, what piece of advice would you maybe have given to yourself a few years ago and would give to somebody else now?
I would tell them to do a couple things. One would be to simplify their life as much as possible, just to kind of gear up and get ready for not having that maybe steady paycheck. But then, maybe you end up with a whole bunch of money and it's great, but I would just say simplify your life as much as possible. And then I would also say to start your side hustle as soon as possible, because just start working on that baby on the side and nurture it whenever you can and just feed it. And it could be vision boards. It could be just meeting somebody over, coffee to talk about it. It could be seeing a film. It could be anything. It could be just writing. But start because the time's going to pass anyway. And all anything that you can do beforehand, before you step off, then is yay. It's good. It's going to help. It'll tremendously. And I feel like I never even knew about side hustles. Not until I was in the creative job in Los Angeles, and almost everybody there had a side hustle. And I was like, what? You have this other thing on the side that you're taking photographs of weddings? Like, really? So that was very eye-opening, and you can do that, and that's where you can explore, and it's safe.
Right. Exactly. And that's how I started my business. Is I started it as a side hustle. So I was not going to simplify my life in that regard just because we had 3 kids. It was just we were in a house. We weren't going to downsize. We were living the way we were, but I was able to do exactly what you mentioned. I was going to wait, and I was like, why would I wait? Time is going to pass me by, just like you said. And I figured 5 to 10 hours a week will gradually build up to mean a lot. So I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
So I know that you have a lot of things out there that we probably haven't touched on. So what questions have I neglected to ask you, or what things have you maybe thought that you would like to share that haven't come up yet?
Let me see. I have some notes, so let me take a look.
Good. I love it. That's great.
I just would like to tell people that there's opportunity in action, and that they just need to be persistent and going after what they love. And I believe collaboration is key. If you, like in my model, I work shoulder to shoulder with people. I'm not their boss in any way. I can be a creative lead and give ideas and set the whole structure up, but then I want to see what they can bring to the table, and I'm hands off. I'm like, do what you love. And when that happens, they either meet me or exceed my expectations, and then they shine like nobody's business. And who knows what opportunity comes, from that. So collaboration is key. And then I also heard pretty recently, the idea of proximity. And it's just putting yourself in spaces that you want to be in. Like, go walk by that house that you would love to live in. Go eat at that restaurant and just have water and an appetizer, but just like put yourself in that space and try and be around people too that you admire. And so I love this idea of proximity. So.
No, I love that. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And it makes sense. It makes sense. Why wait till tomorrow to live the life that you want to live today? Exactly. Figure out how you can start living that life. That's beautiful. So before we go, tell us a little bit more about Lark and how people can learn about you, and for those who live near you who can absolutely utilize all the great things you guys have to offer.
Okay. We have a website. It's larkartisanmarket.com. And then our handle is Let's Go on a Lark, and that's for like Twitter and Instagram. Even at Pinterest, we have a Pinterest board. And the way that you're invited to a lark is if you hear about it. So you've now heard about it. We advertise on our social platforms, and it's an open invite, meaning anybody can come to the dinner. There'll be a notice of the date and the location. We'll also share the menu with you, and then you just click on a link to purchase your ticket. Mm-hmm. And then the minute they walk through the door, it's our lark, and we just let the evening unfold organically. Mm-hmm. So with our dinner parties, there's no rules. Like some of the pop-ups kind of have that sort of thing, but ours is a very free-flowing experiment.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
It sounds like so much fun. I wish I lived closer. I could check it out.
When you're in town.
Town.
Also love to travel and do this. I think it would be amazing.
Well, you will have to keep me posted. We'll do one here in Charlottesville. So this is so exciting. I love that you've done that. I love that. I think another thing you touched on, which is so huge for so many entrepreneurs, is there's a lot of naysayers out there, and you did not listen to that, and you moved forward and you found a way how rather than excuse why not. And I think that's fabulous. So thank you so much for joining us today. I so appreciate it. And what an exciting idea. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.